Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm just going to check my lighting here. It's Carolyne Rodrigues, Monday, July the 16th. So thank you for those of you who are tuning in and joining me on my magical Mondays. And I love Mondays, you guys, because Mondays to me are, hey, Casey, boy, you're up early. Tad, nice to see you. Thanks for your comments on my Facebook post the other day. I love Mondays, you guys, because Mondays is what I call the Etch-a-Sketch effect, right? If I had a great week, I'm celebrating. If my week didn't go so well, I'm going to, and I know I'm dating myself, I'm going to etch-a-sketch last week and create a brand new palette for what I want to accomplish this week. So thank you for joining me. If you're joining me here live, welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't know what's happening in your world. Hey, Uva, nice to see you. Always great to see you joining me on my lives. And so today, guys, and actually it's interesting that this beautiful lady is here because she she speaks to what I want to speak to today. And that is, or I should say, she's accomplished what I'm speaking to you guys about today. Hey, Sharon, how are you? So thank you as you guys are coming on, wherever you're tuning in from. I'm calling in from beautiful Collingwood, Ontario. The sun may not be shining, but it's always beautiful in this part of my world. So today, guys, I want to talk to you about developing a millionaire mindset. And one of the gals listening has absolutely done that. Hey, Dawn, nice to see you. How do you develop a millionaire mindset? And this was something that I asked myself, oh gosh, over 20 years ago when I launched, I should say, I got launched into this vehicle of network marketing. I didn't know anything about network marketing. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if I should participate in it. I didn't know that people had negative connotations towards network marketing. I just knew that I liked the people that were involved in this profession. And I wanted to know what made these guys tick. Why did some people succeed and others didn't? Hey, Danielle, big shout out to Danielle from Florida. She's an amazing photographer. And she took those beautiful profile pictures of mine. So thank you for that, Danielle. Hey, Robin. Oh my God, Robin Janes, all the way from Newfoundland. And this girl has lost over, 200 and some odd pounds. Robin, I'm so proud of you. And I would like to interview you one day on my Facebook Live. But I'm having a squirrel moment, you guys. As you guys come on and I see the caliber of people joining me and the talent here, it really speaks to the topic that I'm talking about today. So what are the character traits of a millionaire mind? How do some people become wealthy and others who, maybe are educated, have what it takes, just don't seem to get anywhere, right? So welcome as you're joining me. Today we're talking about developing what are the character traits of a millionaire mind. How does someone like myself who, I used to tell my monkey mind, well, you're just a flight attendant. You can't do those things because somebody programmed my mind, or I put myself in a scenario where I program my mind to think those things about myself. So what I've learned is from the many mentors that I've had, you guys, that our wealth files and how we think about wealth and money will determine whether we end up becoming one of those people, right? So, hey, George, nice to see you. So how do we do this? Well, number one, think the way rich people think. Well, how do rich people think? I want to know that. I want to hang around wealthy people and dispel the notion that people with money are bad people, because there are many good people with money out there. And what you focus on, you find, you guys. So you can choose to think in ways that will support you in your success instead of what won't support you in your success. So here's what I found out. Rich people have these thoughts. I can create the life I want. Poor people think, oh, life just happens to me. These are my circumstances. And that's what I've been served up in life. No, You can choose how to think. Hey, beautiful Jill, I can't wait to see you in Nashville. You know, you can choose. Jill is an example of someone who, she was already a very successful entrepreneur, and she found a different way, an easier way. So choose to think the way rich people think. So the next thing is, why, you know, I start to ask myself, why do some people get what they want and others don't? Well, one of the things I learned, and just initially with just starting with transforming my bodies, is I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have someone like a Jill Bowman in my life who had a gym, who was, you know, helping people to make those changes. Hey, lad, how are you? Coming in from, we got people from Florida, from Arizona. It's nice to see you guys. So why don't people get what they want? Because they simply don't know, or they haven't committed. You know what you want, but you haven't committed because, again, your monkey mind is telling you what you can't have. So rich people, and all of this stuff that I'm teaching you guys, I didn't come up with it. I read this book, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he talks a lot about this in terms of what his rich dad taught him and what his poor dad taught him. So it's nothing that Carolyne has come up with, and I'll share with you how I've learned some of these things. So rich people focus on what they want. And we have a wonderful program in our company. It's called A Healthy Body, Healthy Mind, where we teach people, and this is perfect for someone like Robin James, who's lost over 200 pounds. Can you imagine losing over 200 pounds? Well, I would totally disappear off the earth, right? So first you got to change your mindset, right? So rich people focus on what they want. Robin had to focus on the kind of body she wanted, right? What did it look, what did it, you know, what were the visuals for her to have that, you know, slim body, or to have a healthy body, rather than the body that she was living in, which wasn't giving her what she wanted. So poor people focus on what they don't want or what is not happening. And here's what I know. When we focus on our current circumstances, we're going to get more of what we're focusing on, right? Hey, Melissa, nice to see you. Are you sneaking away, or is this your lunch hour? Nice to see you here, right? So rich people focus on what you want in spite of current circumstances, right? Poor people, you know, and hey, I was one of those people that had a poor mentality. And I'm not just talking about your pocketbook. I'm talking about your mentality and how you transition into a life of abundance from a life of scarcity and a life of lack. So it's not always about money, but it can be. For me, when I first started my journey into network marketing, it was about money. I needed money. My job looked like it was going away. My husband had been relieved of his position as the president of his company. Hey, Lynn, boy, Florida's in the house today. And Vladimir, you're calling in from Florida too. So my husband, president of his company one day, and, you know, nobody the next, right? So for me, understanding the mentality of how do I go from scarcity and lack to abundance and wealth, I had to study, what did rich people do? What did wealthy people do to, you know, to become who they were? Because the more money you have, guys, the more you can do, the more good you can do. If you choose to do good, you can do bad, but you can do more of what you want and give more. So I also want to talk about what happens when you the light bulb goes on and you say, yes, I want this. Yes, I'm committed. Yes, I'm willing to do the work. All of a sudden, once you make that decision, know this, and this is from personal experience and stuff that people have shared with me, obstacles start to show up. And we end up sabotaging ourselves, right? Think about a lot of those people who have won the lottery, right? Their mindset is programmed for scarcity. Their mindset is programmed for being poor. And when you hear these stories, they had money, whoosh, the money's all gone, and they're back to where they were. Because we sabotage ourselves when we find ourselves in a place where we're really not comfortable. It's like, oh, I asked for this, and now stuff is happening, right? So most people also are uncomfortable with promoting themselves. I ran into somebody this weekend who, when she saw me, she said, "Oh, this girl is always posting on Facebook." Hey, another Floridian. Florida's in the house. Hey, Esther. This girl is on Facebook, and, she posts everything about her life on Facebook. And, within 5 seconds, whatever she's doing, it's on Facebook. And it's like, I wanted to say to her, so? And then I wanted to say to her, well, how do you know that? How does she know that? And she's obviously watching me, right? Hey, beautiful Colleen. It's one of my colleagues from Air Canada. And so she's watching me, but the feedback was, I'm posting stuff on Facebook. I go, yeah, I know. I want people to see the juicy life that I'm living. So if you're watching me and you're jealous or you're judgmental or you're justifying, well, Carolyne can do that, but I can't, I'm just going to say to you guys, I've been in that place where I have had those feelings. I was uncomfortable about promoting myself because I didn't want people to see me as having this ego-driven sort of agenda, right? Oh, Carolyne's always talking about herself. No, my purpose is to show people that if Carolyne can do it, anybody can do it. Because what you don't see behind the scenes is the work that I put in to get here. The work that I had to do to reprogram this before this happened. To reprogram this before the dollars and cents came in. To reprogram this before I could become the leader that I am today. Hey, beautiful Nicole. So when you're hanging around negative people, you guys, that's one way that you also sabotage yourself. And this whole feeling of, and again, I'm speaking from experience, unworthiness, deserve, and the whole notion of lack. You don't deserve it, Carolyne. You're not worthy, Carolyne. Why? Because of the environment that perhaps I found myself in, the environment you find yourself in, the people who are surrounding you, who are telling you what you can't do. And guys, I'm going to give you a little, a little analogy here. I'm a flight attendant. I've traveled the world. And one day I found myself sitting on the wharf in San Francisco, and I was watching the fishermen as they were unloading their traps of crab, right? So they throw the crab into these big vats. And these crabs are still alive. So they're like all moving, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of crab. And then I'd see like one crab trying to get above the others. And he's trying to get out of the, the barrel. Other crabs come on top of him. Next thing you know, the poor little crab's down underneath the barrel again, right? Hey, Linda. And so I thought, oh my God, the crab theory. Look around. Who's your support team? Who's telling you, like patting you on the back and saying, you can do this, Vlad. You can do this, Linda. You can do this, Carolyne. I didn't have a lot of that. I found myself attracted to the people who are living, a life, mediocre. I'm not judging you guys. Each of you get to decide that. We're living the kind of life that I didn't want to live. And I was doing the things that I didn't want to do, but I felt, I was kind of drawn into that. So first I had to, remember what I said, you have to make a decision, right? And rich people are excellent receivers. Poor people are poor at receiving. So that's one of the first things that I recognized that I had to change. And I'll give you an example. How many people, ladies especially, this is so true for you. Hey, Sandy. How many people have commented on the outfit that you're wearing, or the shoes you're wearing, or your hair? And I'd say, oh, this whole thing, well, I got it at Winners. What am I doing? What do they care where I got it from or what I paid for it? So my inability to receive is, oh, well, I have to put myself down in order for them to feel better about the compliment they're giving me. And so what I've learned now, and I teach other people when I do it in a way that it's like, so let's say I'm complimenting Sandy on our hair, and I say, wow, Sandy, did you just get your hair done? It looks fantastic. And you go, well, this whole thing, I don't know, it's not the way I want it. And we start talking about all the, we start moving away from the compliment. So I do something, and I encourage you guys to practice this. I say, okay, I'm going to do a rewind. Rewind the tape and we start over. Hey, Sandy, that's a beautiful hairdo. That's a beautiful top. And your response is going to be, well, thank you, Carolyne. I really love it. And I'm going to say, yes, you look fabulous in that. Because what happens, guys, when we take the conversation this way rather than this way? So you get a further compliment, which is going to make you feel better, which is going to boost your confidence, which is going to cause the vibration that you're looking for. You will draw into you those people that are at that same vibrational plane. So if you're always pushing things away, you're going to be, in the negative column versus attracting what you want. So rich people, thank you very much. I'm receiving, right? When somebody gives me a gift, oh, what'd you have to do that for, right? You didn't have to do that. Well, thank somebody because they took the time. First of all, they thought about you. Then they took the time to maybe get you something. And then they were anxiously waiting to present it to you and ideally receive some gratitude like, wow, thank you, Linda, for that gift. That was really sweet of you to think of me. And so now you're paying back to that person all the good that you want to receive. So, hey, Brenda, yes, love the rewind. Yep, just rewind, you guys, reset. So rich people, remember, and you can start to notice this in your week. How often does somebody say something nice to you? How often does somebody gift you something where you're a wealthy receiver? You receive in gratitude. Okay, so now how do you change the cycle? How do you change the cycle from being someone who maybe feels unworthy, maybe doesn't feel deserving, maybe thinks that I can't have an extraordinary just a minute, fix my dentures here. I have some new teeth, just put them in. Okay, how do I become one of those people? I kept saying that. I'd see these, what appeared, in my opinion, ordinary people, not to put anybody down, ordinary people that have achieved extraordinary success. And I would ask myself better questions. How can an ordinary person like Carolyne Rodrigues, that has extraordinary drive, that has extraordinary ambition, that has extraordinary intent, and is willing to put in extraordinary amount of work in order to have the things that those people have, right? So what are you willing to do today to have what others have? Right? And I don't remember the whole quote. What are you willing to do today so that you can have what others... Anyway, I always get those things all mixed up. But what are you willing to do today to change your circumstances, right? How do you change that cycle? How do you, first of all... So it starts with, before we get into all the hows. Hey, Dawn, how are you? Dean, hey, Dean. And nice to see you here. How do you change that? You got to create a new blueprint. And I spoke about this already. It's the power of intention. Intention is huge. Imagination is huge. And conditioning your mind to think differently and applying the law of attraction. Okay, so conditioning your mind. How do you do that? Well, it starts with, what am I thinking? And when I'm thinking lack thoughts, I have to have a little anchor. Okay, my clicker isn't working. A little clicker where it's like, okay, Carolyne, that's not serving you. Let's do something else. So I started with creating these affirmations. And I spoke to you guys already. I talked about Joel Osteen's book, The Power of I Am. I started declaring I am intentions. And when you do that, it's amazing what happens to your mind, you guys. Your mind, your subconscious mind overrides your conscious mind. So you got to get the monkey mindset thoughts out, and you got to put good thoughts in. The I am statements, right? So I write stuff out on little cards. I made out a list of 10 things that are great about me, because I used to talk about all the things I was no good at. So I thought, let me just list the things that I'm good at. And then I read these out. I also wrote out some statements of what I love about my life, right? Where I'm living. So, and then I wrote out, what's my identity, right? My identity. If I want to be a six-figure income earner, well, what does a six-figure income earner think like, act like, do like, right? And in the middle of all of that is my faith, right? I have faith that God has a master plan of increase and abundance for myself, my family, and my team. I am worthy of earning, and I put in the amount, right? And so these powerful statements will override your monkey mindset statements. Okay, so creating a new blueprint. I used to read a page a year, and then I joined, hey Jeff, how are you, handsome? And then I joined, I was invited to join Bob Proctor's book club. Somebody invited me in. Remember I said start hanging around different people and your circumstances will change. And so Bob Proctor, oh my goodness, this was a book that I got from him, and it was You Were Born Rich. And this is not about money, right? And so I learned a lot of principles from Bob Proctor. And oh my goodness, you guys, we read a book a month. And Bob taught me how to read a book. He taught me, he said, just open the page, scan through it. Whoops, notes falling out. Go to the index, okay? What do you like that you see? Here, start here. Who wrote the rule that you have to start at the front and go through right to the back? So I read this book, and then this was another book we read, The Science of Getting Rich. Remember I said it's not always about your pocketbook. Napoleon Hill, one of Bob's favorites, Think and Grow Rich with Peace, because I didn't want to have, there are people with money who are like all freaked out, and they're just not happy people. So I wanted to understand, what was it like to earn money, to have money, to be a wealthy person, to create ongoing, increasing abundance. Hang on, I got all my little props here, right? So I went to some seminars. I got these little things laminated. I multiply them, hand them out. Bob Proctor, again, Bob's been a great mentor of mine, right? My success strategy. So I surround myself with all this stuff, you guys. That's what's going in my head, right? And then I read these books and reread these books. And then when I read the book, I highlight things, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I read a page and a second page, and then when I turn the page, I forgot what was on the other page. So I find that when I highlight it and I go back to it, I go, oh, yeah, that makes sense, right? So you have the tools in order to apply this new blueprint of who you want to be. And I know Jeff and his beautiful wife Debbie have been applying the law of attraction, and oh my goodness, they have the most amazing team. And surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to do, right? Have your tribe of 5, your posse of people that will lift you out of the dark hole when you're going down that rabbit hole. And so guys, that's what I want to share with you today. And next week, for those of you who come back, I'll kind of review these. I'm going to give you the action plan and the 4 key elements of change that help me change my mindset of, poverty mentality, poverty thinking. I can't do it. It's only for them, not for me. So how do I go from being a flight attendant to a multiple 6-figure income earner? I just want to share those success with you. And so thank you for tuning. I really gotta fix these teeth. Thank you for tuning in to my Magical Mondays. If this Facebook Live has been of help to you, feel free to share it in your groups. Feel free to put it on your Facebook wall. Feel free to connect with me, CarolynRodrigues.com. I'm still working. I'm almost got my website done, where I'll be, putting these Facebook